Hi, community, and welcome to the Project Vanlife Summit. Thank you for having us. We are really proud to be here.
Today, we will share our story and we will take you on a vanlife adventure trip through Europe. We will talk about who we are and how our vanlife adventure has started. Also, we share some figures about our journey so far and give you an insight on our Europe travel plans and how they changed. We will share some impressions of our winter in Scandinavia and we will show you some other highlights. We want to be real and share the real van life and our personal good and bad experiences while living on the road. Traveling with a dog should not be missing in this presentation, and finally, we talk a bit of our future plans. Let's dive into it. Hi, I'm Thorsten.
I'm Tamara, and our four-legged travel buddy Teddy is currently sleeping under the table. Normally, he's not that shy in front of the camera. Here are some facts about us. Thorsten is addicted to travel photography. He is the outdoor hero and takes care of all tasks outside the van.
And Tamara loves to create and cook new recipes in the van kitchen, and she's the angel for all indoor tasks. We are both from Germany, except Teddy. He's a rescue dog from Romania. And he's a really funny guy with cool tricks and travels the world with us. Together, we are TTT on tour. How did we start it? We were very lucky to get a pre-built camper van and tried out some camping weekends, and guess what? We loved it. We felt free and wanted more. In 2022, after COVID and 2 years of home office, we made a tough decision and quit our jobs in architecture and administrative management and moved out of our city apartment. All our belongings were sold or donated, and we only decided to store some small items in a handful of boxes. This was a huge step to take, but we did it for a reason, since our mental health was not existing anymore. So we were completely burned out.
It was a huge planning phase and a lot to organize, from contractual options and topics to insurances, from items to keep to items to give away. We created a website with a travel blog for family and friends, and of course, needed to inform them about our future plans. During the planning phase, really nobody was aware of what we are doing, and when we told them, some were really impressed, proud, and of course, some were shocked since we gave up all our security. But in this moment, we just wanted to explore and see something different. We had so many questions in mind, you cannot imagine. What items do we need for a living on the road? Will it work out to live that very small? What are we expecting from the time traveling? And of course, what will happen if one of us decides to end the adventure? We didn't have any answers, and we really didn't know what to expect from the road trip. But we were more than open for a change, open for meeting new cultures and the van life adventure.
Before we are starting the engine, let's talk about some figures. During the last year, we explored 10 countries. In total, we drove 25,000 kilometers.
Accident free.
Our, our, our gas bottles were filled up 20 times. The van was fueled 26 times. We consumed about 8,000 liters of fresh water and had 2 tire changes from all season to spike tires and back. Per month, we did the laundry only 2 times, and the most expensive country we visited was Norway.
And now let's talk about our Europe travel plans. Our original plan was to explore Europe in 1 year, collect lots of memories, and travel as much countries as possible. During summer, we wanted to spend the time in Scandinavia and wanted to explore Southern Europe in winter, but our plans changed.
Yeah.
We started in Germany and headed up to Northern Europe very quickly. We just were seeking for nature and silence and wanted to stay away from the cities and the hot summer. Only 2 weeks later, we arrived at Hammerfest. We got visited from a group of reindeers, so cute, and took a bath in the 10 degrees cold water. It was freaking cold, but we felt very alive that
Yeah, we
moment.
did.
We headed up further and arrived at the so-called northernmost point of Europe, which is reachable by car. It's the Cape North. We had to stay there for 3 days because of a huge storm with a maximum speed of 132 kilometers per hour. All roads were closed, and you cannot imagine the car was shaking and the dog was sleeping. And yeah, after 3 days, we continued, and Scandinavia is offering a lot of space and free spots.
Another highlight of our road trip was Senja Island. We were just speechless to see the breathtaking landscapes that invites us for a hike. On Senja, we saw our first northern lights, but we were pretty disappointed because they looked like clouds and had almost no colors
In the night.
in the night. In Norway, our last destination was Grense Jakobselv, which is a creek that defines the natural border between Norway and Russia. And yes, you heard correctly, it's not a river, it's just a small creek. And the Norwegian military patrols and points out to the people that it's strictly prohibited to cross the border, and even fishing is prohibited in the creek. And at the end of the road, we found a spectacular scenery and even saw some whales, dolphins, and seals, but unfortunately, we had not have the photograph with us, so we couldn't make some photos.
We drove lots of kilometers a day and felt in a rush all day long. Drive, take some photos, eat, sleep, and repeat. This was our new daily life, and we realized that we now have time and should use it wisely. No deadlines to fulfill, no overcrowded calendars, and no meetings. It was just us, the road, and beautiful surroundings to explore. So we decided to change our focus. Travel slow, connect to ourselves, and get back some inner peace. We recognize that only this way we are able to learn about us and other cultures.
Time flew by, and autumn was already there while we headed over to northern Sweden. We fell in love with the people, with the country, and with the culture. And at this point, our plans changed completely. We decided to stay in Sweden over winter time. Winter in Lapland? Sounds crazy, right? Yes, maybe. Lots of people didn't understand since they travel up there during summertime to celebrate midsummer. Midsummer is the time when the sun does not set. For us, the winter condition felt perfect. Lots of snow, beautiful sky, hopefully northern lights, and a cozy atmosphere all over the country. With time change in October, lots of houses are lighted with wonderful Christmas decoration up in the northern part of Sweden. We were ready for our winter van life adventure. And now I would say, let's jump into the snow.
We arranged for spiked tires to drive safely on the ice roads, installed a light bar on the roof, and used a separate heating box in addition to our gas heater, which we needed. The spiked tires were extremely helpful from day one on. Imagine you drive on an icy street and suddenly a reindeer herd stands in the middle of the road. We stopped several times and then we just waited until the animals are crossing. This can take some time, and yeah, you just watch them while they're licking the salt from the road. And sometimes the reindeers made us really laugh when they were slipping over the ice. They're very clumsy.
Yeah, they are. Our van did an amazing job and was a perfect home on wheels until minus 16 degrees. From that time on, the outside pipes were frozen and I was laying under the van with a hairdryer to heat everything up. It took several hours to get the pipes unblocked. And I can say, oh man, I was so annoyed. With minus 20 degrees, while our tanks were already completely empty, we decided to give up. You won't go to an external bathroom every night when it's that cold. Trust us.
You won't.
We ask ourselves, is it okay? Is it still a van life adventure? And we can say yes and yes. Our van is our home, and for us, it is fully okay to take a break from van life.
We are sure everything is happening for a reason. And also this time, we had the possibility to move into a tiny apartment on a campsite. And while the owners were away, we did some house and camp sitting and took care of the daily snow which was falling from the sky. It was lots of snow. And during this time, our van was used for daily trips. So it needs lots of attention and asks for snow and ice removal from the roof. We spent lots of nights outside watching the sky exploding. The northern lights, they're spectacular. You cannot get enough of it. And we definitely can say that we had a winter van life experience. Time passed quickly, and with early spring coming, it was time to say goodbye to Sweden. And by the way, if you think the Swedish spring is full of warm light and blooming blooms, you're wrong. It's still cold, and we had minus 27 degrees when we departed in March, but nevertheless, the sun was shining, and we loved the Swedish spring and also the winter. After lots of snow, we decided to head to south of Europe. We traveled through the Netherlands, France, northern Spain, Italy, and Switzerland, and then headed back to Germany to visit family and friends. In the following, we will share some highlight photos of our destinations we traveled to. There would be so many stories to tell about our time there, but we will keep it short.
Let's jump to the Netherlands. The Netherlands are a very camper-friendly country and campsites are cheap and clean. The best time to visit is during spring when the tulips are in full flower. Also, it is perfect to observe and photograph seabirds at the Northern Sea. You can spend hours outside just sitting there and watch them flying over you.
Next stop, France. And France hit us. We needed to go to the vet, got stuck in the mud several times, and had some issues with the van. We had not much luck to see attractions since campers had to park far away and outside of the cities. Often we stood in front of forbidden signs for van and also for dogs. Maybe it was just the wrong place at the wrong time. We will never know, but we can say that France has a beautiful landscape and lots of beautiful villages and should definitely receive a second chance. Maybe someday.
We crossed the border to Spain and drove through the Pyrenees. You can drive on the roads and see nobody for hours. Empty roads, untouched nature, and lots of historical spots to discover. During our time, lots of camps were closed since the season has not yet started.
Then we headed over to Italy. In Italy, we lived the Italian Dolce Vita for a short period of time, and we had the best pizza and the best wine ever. It was so delicious. We stayed at the Ligurian coast and visited medieval villages like Cervo. Lots of parking spots allow you to park and sleep overnight, completely for free. We stayed away from bigger cities since we heard some bad stories about robbery. With us, everything was fine. After, we went down to Tuscany and enjoyed the special view over the Tuscan hills. In the evening, we were surrounded by fireflies. It was a magical atmosphere. There are lots of families living on vineyards who provide cheap parking for vans. Often they prepare local dinner for you. After, we visited Lake Iseo. It's the fourth largest lake in Italy. It is not much known and therefore not very touristy. Around the lake, you can find only some camps, but all of them are connected to the water. And again, we had lots of pizza and, of course, some Italian ice cream. Our last spot in Italy was the Formazza Valley in the northern part of the country. It is known for its mountain lakes and beautiful hiking spots. The trip was perfectly timed since the waterfall just opened up the weekend. It was spectacular to see how the water started to fall. You can find only a few camps along the road, but it is definitely worth it to go there.
On one of our last days, we stood eye in eye with a pregnant ibex. This animal came closer and closer, and so I had the chance to take some photos. For me, it was an unforgettable moment. And nature up there in northern Italy feels untouched. We have never seen so many insects flying around. And last but not least, we spent a wonderful time in Switzerland and drove through the Swiss Alps. There you can find crystal clear mountain lakes in a panoramic scenery all over. The Alpine passes are amazing to drive, especially in the morning when nobody's on the road. We met some marmots in their natural habitat, and they are super cute and can scream like crazy when they see you coming.
They do.
We definitely can say that we saw lots of wild animals during our road trip.
And now it's time for the real van life. We will share our personal good and bad with you. Starting with the bad and sometimes annoying topics. The car can break down, and the daily search for a night spot can be challenging and very annoying. In lots of the countries, it is not allowed to wildcamp, and even if it's not allowed, lots of people still do. Well, bad for campers who accept and follow the rules. This results in lots of forbidden signs along the way, and country roads are blocked with big maps. There are many apps highlighting some spots, but in reality, lots of them are no parking areas free to camp. You cannot imagine. One time, we were routed to some turnouts on a small road. Grey and black water needs to be emptied and fresh water refilled. Some stations are less nice than others. In total, we used more than 100 stations and could tell lots of stories about every single one. The internet connection can be an issue while traveling full time, but there are many options on the market, especially in Scandinavia. While traveling, often we were confronted with people's behavior, crowded areas full of trash, or even chemical toilet waste in the middle of the forest. During wintertime, you need to refill or change the gas bottles several times a week.
Yeah.
Also, frozen tanks can be an issue when it's not fully isolated. You see Torsten in
Yeah.
the photo. While traveling full time, there are not only sunny days, and life happens indoor most of the time. We like to be outside in all weather conditions, but rainy days are sometimes special. Coming back to the van after a hike in the rain means finding a place to dry. Dirty shoes, rainy jacket,
Muddy paws.
and of course, a dirty dog. All on less than 10 square meters, this can be real fun. For this, our tiny bathroom will be modified to a drying area. On these days, the little storage can be an issue. And also when you need to pack for all seasons, as we did. Please don't always trust social media. Often it is not tidy as shown, as you can see here in our photos. It can get messy within minutes. Every little thing has its dedicated space to be stored, and when you have used something, clean up directly. Otherwise, it can be super frustrating and ends up in a total chaos. Our motto, buying new stuff, means tossing out something else. Choose wisely.
After all, it's needless to say that there are more positive facts for us. During our trip, we met also lots of campers who love this lifestyle and who takes care of the environment. It is a really nice not being alone and cleaning after others. A tip for all newbies: leave a spot cleaner than found. Have a toilet on board and check for the options for emptying on your trip. And of course, always take your trash with you. We explored lots of beautiful regions and found wonderful spots around. The world feels like a huge garden and invites us every day to new adventures. Van life is definitely a feeling of freedom for us, and a long-term travel expands your horizon. Lots of topics will be seen in a different way and from another perspective. You get to know new cultures, the people behind, and also make new friends. Traveling frees your mind and gets you inspired from everything around you. Somehow you can connect in a deeper way with yourself. It is definitely a minimalistic lifestyle, and we totally forgot what we have stored in our boxes. For us, we can say that you need only a little for living. No TV, no dishwasher, no personal washing machine or a cozy sofa. While traveling a long time, you learn to be grateful again for the smallest things in life. Take a shower once a week. Amazing. Not finding a safe place to sleep. locals will guide you for only getting a friendly smile. Not happy with a country or location? Just change it and drive to another one. Also, van life can change your relationship. Of course, space can be really small, but you learn to discuss differently and talk directly about something. With that, disputes are resolved more quickly. For us, it was an enrichment.
And now let's talk a bit about traveling with a dog. By choosing this lifestyle, also the dog needs to get used to it. Our dog Teddy required lots of attention in the first days, and we had many ups and downs in the first time. Only some weeks or months later, he got used to changing hiking spots, campsites, and new food. Traveling together with a dog comes also with lots of responsibilities. Before we travel to a new country, we get familiar with the rules and regulations, possible travel restrictions, vaccinations, and entry requirements. Before entering Norway, for example, a special warmer needs to be done. For Sweden, an online registration is mandatory. For us, it was always very important to know where the next vet can be found and what kind of dangerous animals can possibly cross your way while being in the woods or areas we travel to. Since Teddy is suffering from some allergies, we need to have enough food on board for a certain amount of time. Not always easy. And we needed to start searching the right food and again and again. And now, a fun fact, in all countries we travel to, we now know exactly what food Teddy can eat without any allergic reactions. Today, we can say that we have a happy adventure dog and we make lots of unforgettable moments and memories together.
We do not know where we are going, but we are on the way. This quote fits perfectly to us. After 1 year being on the road, we can say that travel changes you. Inwards and outwards, visibly and invisibly. It feels like we were still the same, but in some kind we are different. Nobody knows what tomorrow will bring, so go out, be curious, and explore. Is it a lifestyle for everyone? We don't know. You need to try it. We are more than happy to have chosen this kind of lifestyle and travel the world. Some days are hard and you don't know where to sleep the next night, but our van life adventure was the best decision we have ever made. Last year, we did not know what today will look like. Now we are currently heading back to Scandinavia for our second winter adventure. Bets are accepted on how long we will last in the van this time. We cannot wait to be back in the snow.
For the future, we are currently working on some of our business projects and ideas. Most of them are, of course, van life related. We have so many things in mind that we would like to do in the future, and we are so excited about.
Yeah.
Soon, we will share big news
Oh, yeah.
with all of you. And you can find us on Instagram and YouTube. Or otherwise, you can visit our website, tdtontour.com. There you find a huge photo gallery and you can read our travel blogs for free. Get in and be part of our adventures. And also, if you like to collaborate with us, feel free to reach out. We are very happy to work with you. Last but not least, don't forget to check out the Vanlife Academy. Grab your all access pass for the Vanlife Summit and learn how to build a van and how to live the van life and get more information about the lifestyle. Guys, thank you again for having us.
Thank you for listening.
See you on the road.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.